Hey guys, if you clicked on this video because you are interested in Aether Beauty palettes, then know that they have a site-wide 25% off sale going on from now until the end of May, so May 31st. All you gotta do is use the code MAYLOVE at checkout, and I will have a link to their website down in the description. You guys might hear some rattling or bell dinging in this video. We got a new kitten and we got him with a lung infection, but he went to the vet and he's feeling better and now he can't be contained. Let me just think about what to update you guys on. Well, I guess we got the new kitten. I did my hair today. What was that other thing? Oh, yeah, I got Aether Beauty palettes. 3 of them actually. So I got the Crystal Charged Cheek palette in the shade Rose Quartz. We're going to be using this today. I also got the Summer Solstice palette, which we're going to be using today. And then I got the Joshua Tree palette, which we are not going to be using today. I decided that with this little haul, I want to be able to show you guys what these palettes look like on their own. So I'm going to do 2 different videos for this. That way you're going to be able to see how the cheek palette does in like 2 different kinds of looks. I'm going to use both blushes in the cheek palette on 2 different days. And then you guys really get to see what these palettes look like. And each palette gets their own dedicated video because these palettes are so special that I think they deserve it. So I already put on quite a bit of my base. If you're curious, I used the Thrive CC Cream and the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer. Oh, and the e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer. But I figure it makes sense to start with the face and kind of get the face completed, and then we can really move on to eyes and just focus on that. So I'm going to get out this Crystal Cheek palette. Guys, I've been waiting literal years to get my hands on Aether Beauty products because they are pretty expensive and I know that they do well, but I also am in my early 20s. I don't have that kind of money. So I've been saving up a little bit in like my clean beauty savings stash of money, and I finally, when I saw that Aether Beauty was on sale, pretty much blew it all on this stuff, but I am not mad about it. Okay, so this is what she looks like. Again, this is the Crystal Charged Cheek palette in Rose Quartz, and this is what she looks like on the back. So it just kind of tells you the description of the shades. If you're not familiar with Aether Beauty, one of the things that is so exciting about them is that they have completely biodegradable packaging. It is all cardboard. The only thing that you can't recycle is this strap right here, which you can very easily take out when you're done with using it. These are the shades that we are working with, guys. So this shade over here, which is the highlight shade in the palette, the only highlight shade, is called Heart. This one right here is called Compassion. This is a blush shade. And then we have Self-Love over here. I think it kind of makes sense to use the shade Compassion for Summer Solstice since everything is kind of more muted and it's supposed to be more sunsetty vibes. And then I think for Joshua Tree, since it is so colorful, I'm going to try to make the shade Self-Love work for that video. And then of course we're going to use the Heart highlight shade in both videos. I'm going to clip my hair back really fast, and then I guess I just put Aether Beauty products on my face. Oh my gosh, guys. I feel so blessed. I feel so blessed right now. Clearly this is not just coming from the Aether Beauty palettes, although I'm super excited about them. I just finally am in a good place where I feel like I'm starting to understand this YouTube thing a little bit more. I'm not growing super fast right now, but I'm having fun. So I really am trying to focus on that and just learn as much as I can. And then I think if I do what's passionate for me, then the followers will follow. Anyway, it's just been a good couple of days for me and I'm feeling good today, and this is just adding to it. So let's go into the shade Compassion. Wow, okay, that is more pigmented than I was expecting it to be. I don't know why I wasn't expecting it to be pigmented. It's Aether. Let me go on the other side first, and then we'll kind of talk about it. I do feel like the shade kind of surprised me. This looks like it was going to be more of a, I don't know, brownie shade, and it really is more peachy. I mean, it looks peachy in the pan, but it's a little brighter on the face than I thought it would be. Let me actually just swatch this for you guys. So as you can see, it is really bright and it's also not patchy at all. And I think that's what's really throwing me for a loop here. This is just such a seamless blend. I really can't tell where it starts and ends. And so I actually think that it would be really easy to kind of fall into the trap of, oh, I need more blush, but this is something that I think you really need to like stand back after applying a little bit and see the full picture before going in with more. I am so obsessed with that shade. I think it looks so pretty and I really want to go in with more, but I'm not going to. Okay, next is the highlight shade. We are going to go into the shade Heart here, which let me swatch it for you first this time. Oh my gosh. Okay, so that has a little bit of reflect to it. It's a little bit highlighty. That is so beautifully metallic. Ugh. So if you can't tell, it does obviously have like a very pink shimmer shade, and it's more like silvery leaning pink. It's definitely not super warm, but I guess we'll see how it goes on the face, because I thought that the blush was going to look a little bit different too, and it was a little bit unpredictable. So I guess we'll just go into this and see what happens. Oh my gosh, I just want to douse my face in this. This is the kind of highlight that I actually will like bring up onto my cheek a little bit, just because I think it has the most like juicy, healthy kind of glow effect. So I put it a little bit up here. This is really surprising me because it looks pretty darn shimmery. I mean, there are no glitter chunks, no visible chunks that I can see in it, so it's not like gaudy in that way. But it was so reflective on my hand that I really wasn't expecting it to look as natural. I thought it was going to be more of a blingy highlight, but I think you can totally turn it in to something wearable. So if you are interested in the cheek palette, it comes at, I think, $44 normally, but during the sale, I think you should be able to get it for $33. Yeah, that math is correct. Okay, moving on to the Summer Solstice Palette. Okay, so this is what she looks like. It has a really simple design on the back that just tells you the color names, but up close and personal, this is what we have going on. So let me just swatch a couple of these shades for you first. I think I'm going to swatch like one matte shade, one of the kind of shimmer shades, and then one of the like super duochrome shades, just so you guys kind of get a feel for what all of the different finishes look like. Okay, so starting from the bottom, this matte shade that I swatched is called New Moon. Then moving up, this shade right here is called Energy, and then Midsummer. So if you guys aren't familiar with the founder of this company, her name is Tila, T-I-I-L-A, and she started in the fashion industry for 5 years of her career, and then she moved on to work in Sephora, I think in their product development department for 7 years, and then in 2018 she started her own brand, Aether Beauty, and she has been doing this ever since. And for 2 years, it's 2020 guys, and these are already at Sephora and they are just so beautiful. And her formulation, just out of the blue, first try, it just seems like she got it almost perfect. I mean, there's always room for improvement, but these are really, really impressive palettes. All right, so I think I'm going to start with this shade all over the lid. This shade is called Soul, S-O-L. Next, I'm going to go into this shade over here, which is called Balance. This is still a matte shade, and I think it complements the shade over here, Soul, really, really well. And I'm going to go into the crease with this. Next, I'm going to go into the shade, I believe this is called Sistere. So I'm going to go into the shade over here, and I'm just going to pack this on the outer corner and kind of blend it up into the crease. I wish I had a palette like this when I was 15 years old. I mean, they're so blendable. It's really hard to go wrong in these palettes, and I'm realizing that more and more as I use this. Tyla, if you end up watching this, some kind of quad that you can get for under $25 or $20 would work really well. And I actually can think of a couple of my nieces who would really, really enjoy this if I were to get them like a smaller quad that are just getting into their teen years. But okay, so I'm gonna go into the lid shade now, and I really want to use one of these shimmery shades, like the center 4 that she has going on here. I kind of want to go for the truly duochrome shade, so I'm going to go into this shade over here, which I believe is called Solstice, and I'm going to go in with my finger first, kind of tap off excess. That's really beautiful, but it's not like coming across very pow. So I'm gonna wet a brush and try going into it. This always makes me nervous because some palette formulations just have really weird formulas that kind of crust over when you go in with something wet. But I'm trusting Tyla here. See, that is working better. I don't know how the shade is necessarily supposed to be used, but I actually kind of want something different. So I'm gonna go into the shade Energy again, just on my finger, and I'm going to apply this guy. Okay, that's bringing a little bit more shine to it. I kind of want to go into this shade here, which is called Solar Eclipse, and I'm going to put this in the center, or in the inner corner. Okay guys, so that is Solar Eclipse on the center corner. And I put it underneath the brow a little bit too. Not that we needed more shine there, but you know what? I'm loving it. Okay, and then I really want to try something kind of different than I normally do. And I want to go into the super golden shade up here into the lower lash, which is called Amber. Okay guys, so that is Amber on the lower lash line. I'm going to do this exact same look on the other eye. I'm going to apply mascara and maybe a little bit of liner, but I don't think I'm going to use this palette to do it. And then I'll be back to talk about these products. All right, guys, so I am back. And I also did lips. So let me just tell you really fast what I did put on. I did the Burt's Bees Defining Eyeliner in just a brown shade, really lightly. And I kind of used a pencil to, or not a pencil, a slanted brush to kind of draw that up and define this area, just a really slight wing. I used the Ilia Limitless Lash Mascara. And then I figured for a look like this, something kind of bright and sunsetty could be fun. So I used the 100% Pure Lip Caramel in the shade Ganache. And then I used this Pixie by Petra Lip Contour Liner in the shade Natural Rose. So let's talk about these palettes. I'm actually going to start with the eye look. So if you're thinking about getting any of the Aether Beauty eyeshadow palettes, all of the pros are that they have several different shades now. They have an amethyst palette that's all purples. They have the Joshua Tree palette that is all mattes and it's all colorful. They have this Summer Solstice palette, which I think is one of their most popular ones. It's very warm toned, but still usable and neutral. They have the Rose Quartz palette that is still all neutrals, but a little bit more cool toned. You can probably find at least one palette in their collection that is going to be usable for you and that you're going to really enjoy. But the other thing is the formulation, which after using this, I do think that based on other reviews I've seen, the formulation is pretty consistent across the board in all of their eyeshadow palettes. So I can tell you after using this that it is blendable and it is really hard to mess up. As far as like a very specific description, they are a little bit kickbacky, but not too much, honestly, like the perfect amount. I want it to kick back just enough that it actually comes off on the brush. It's not just going to be dry in the pan and when you have to like literally dig your brush into it to get it to come off. No, these will come off on any brush really easily, your finger, whatever application technique that you use. I also like that although some people kind of criticize Aether Beauty palettes for not having a ton of matte shades, but I actually think, in my opinion, that you can get a lot of use out of these. You just have to be someone, at least the shimmery ones. If you want to go for the Joshua Tree palette, which is all matte shades, then do it. But any of their other palettes, going for these, you have to be someone that uses shimmer on the lid almost every day in your inner corner or somewhere. And I think that's kind of what these are geared toward, if that's a technique that you use often. And I think a lot of people do use that technique often. I actually just talked about that in my protruding eyes makeup video, that is the kind of one size fits all of makeup application on your eyes. As far as the price of these palettes, I actually do think it's fair. I think she could lower it the tiniest bit and it would still be fair, like still in the 50s, but rather than, oh, by the way, these are $58. You should be able to get them, I wrote this down, for $43.50 during the sale right now. The other thing about this brand, if you aren't convinced already, that you should at least try one palette. You don't have to buy three like I did, but I think that this self-made woman deserves a little credit for the amazing business that she's come up with. And the fact that she actually says on her website that she does not come out with a product unless there's a sustainable way to do so. So if technology needs to grow basically a little bit for her to be able to come out with what her vision is, then she will wait. What else is there to say? I definitely think that the eyeshadow palette compared to the cheek palette and all of the other like highlights and stuff that she has at this point, I think that these are just probably the best bang for your buck. Okay, and then let's talk about the Crystal Charged Cheek palette really fast. So I really appreciated that she had a palette like this on her website because she sells individual highlights. I don't think she sells individual blushes, at least not yet. But I like having something like this where I can literally use it for 2 different looks, basically. She's given you 2 different vibes of blush here, and then a highlight that is really universal but also unique. Like, I like that it's very peachy and has a pink shimmer. I mean, you don't see that all the time on the market, at least not in this kind of beautiful formulation and packaging. So would I pay $44 for this? Which I didn't. I paid less because of the sale. Probably not, if I'm being completely honest. But as far as actual formulation on these products, I think that they are beautiful. They look gorgeous on the skin, which is all you want. I mean, it's very seamless, and it's interesting to me because I almost feel like when I get up close to the camera, it disappears a little bit. It diffuses almost, like you can't quite tell where it's at. But when I back up a little bit, you can see the full look, and you can see that it just looks nice. Out of all of these shades, obviously I haven't tried this one yet, but I actually think I'm most excited about the highlight. So if that tells you anything about her highlight formulations, then maybe this is one that you want to check out. Also, she does have individual pressed highlights that I think are pretty close to this formulation, but what I've heard is that the highlight in this palette is a little bit more usable and a little less blingy, and it absolutely just looks fresh on the skin. It's very springy in my mind. But then the individual pan eyeshadows are a lot more blingy, and they really pack a punch, which is awesome, and I'm curious about those too. But of course, everything in moderation, which I can barely say in this video. I bought 3 palettes from her. Alright guys, so that is it for this video. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I'll see you next time.